Andy Johnson. Today we are looking at balanced reading instruction. What the heck is balanced reading instruction anyway? It's a good thing. Well, know that there's always a continuum between skills-based instruction, where you focus only on low-level skills, and meaning-based, where you focus more on reading good books. There's a continuum. This where you are on this continuum depends not on your philosophy, but where your students are at. Some students need more of a skills based down there, some need more of a meaning based up there. Most are in between someplace. But to say you should just have that is nonsense. To say you should just have that is nonsense. There is no standardized approach or method called a balanced reading instruction. It is. And balanced reading instruction, or a balanced approach to literacy instruction, looks a little bit different in each teacher's classroom. So let's take a look at it. It includes some of the following: balanced reading instruction, or a balanced literacy program. There is 70 to 80% of actual reading, self-selected reading. 20 to 30% is skills instruction. So in a reading class, 70 to 80% would be students selecting books that they enjoy and practicing reading. Yes, that is good stuff. That means, however, that you must have a variety of good books for them to select. So instead of spending all this money on all these stupid programs that someone has said is research based, which they really aren't, but it says it on the box, so it must be. Instead of spending all this money on standardized tests, spend that money on good books. There should be social interaction and conversation around good books. You and I, we have a good book, we want to talk about it. Oh, I like that book. However, good teachers know that they have to structure that conversation. You cannot just say, go back and talk about a book. Good conversations, good discussions are planned and purposeful. So a good teacher, a master teacher, needs to plan these things. By the way, we want effective teachers. Well, we need to let them be effective teachers. Get out of the way. All right, there is authentic writing experiences. All right, authentic writing is not where you give them a prompt or they have these structured things. Students are using writing to describe their ideas and their experiences. And they get responses to the writing versus just correcting. Oh, I like this. It made me think of this. And students are choosing what they want to write about. That's how writing comes alive and it's magic. And teachers understand and know the 5-step writing process. Most writing activities within a reading class, it's just the 2 parts: generate ideas and get a sloppy copy down. All right, and I'll talk about the 5-step in another video. But in a balanced reading program as well, that teacher knows that the brain uses 3 cueing systems to recognize words. So that teacher is doing or creating activities to develop all 3 cueing systems: semantic, meaning; syntactic, grammar, word order; and phonologic. If you are only teaching phonics as a cueing system, developing that, you're giving them 1/3 of a reading education. We don't want that. We want students to make good progress versus not good progress. So why would you not want to address all 3 cueing systems? As well, word recognition, I recognize that word automatically, is different from word identification strategies. Oh, I see that word. I do not recognize it. It is in my lexicon, which is the dictionary in your head. I must have some strategy so that I can recognize it. There are 4 strategies: morphemic analysis, analogy or word parts, context or syntax, and then phonics. And I'll talk about those in another video. But you should be teaching all 4 of these. If you're only teaching phonics, if you're only saying sound it out, and that's the worst thing you can do, by the way, you are giving them 1/4 of a reading education. And then comprehension instruction. That's different from a comprehension worksheet, which really is a remembering worksheet. You are teaching study skill strategies. This is a textbook. This is how you read a textbook. Comprehension is under instructed, by the way. And you are also teaching and developing cognitive processes related to effective comprehension. Comprehending is thinking. Reading is thinking. It makes sense that we teach thinking processes as part of reading instruction. And let us not forget vocabulary. You include activities to develop word knowledge. Now, students learn between 4,000 and 5,000 words every year, depending on the study. Do you think they learn those words through vocabulary worksheets? Absolutely not. Vocabulary worksheets are very ineffective in developing word knowledge or vocabulary. Writing definitions is even more ineffective. Well, what is effective, you say? I'm glad you asked. What is effective is wide reading and conversations where teachers and others put these words into the discussion. And I'll talk about vocabulary in another video. But instruction should occur within a meaningful context to the greatest extent possible, meaning that you limit those instances where students see words in isolation, a list of words out of context. You know, tests like Dibbles, which I think is just a horrible, horrible thing, an infestation. They pretend to measure students' ability to create meaning with print or reading by showing them a word or a nonsense word out of context. When in your life have you had to read a word in isolation? Even on a sign or on a milk box, there is a meaningful context. We use syntax and grammar as well as phonics to identify and recognize words. That's it. Balanced reading instruction. I recommend it.